Etymology, how important, first I want you to introduce yourself to the people, how long you've been doing this research, you know.
Yes. Well, I'm Abdullah El Talib Mosi Bey, and I've been studying etymology since 1998. I studied under Professor Burton and Richard Bailey at Temple University PASSIve program, which is the Pan-African Studies Community Education program. And that was started about 35 years ago by Sister Hyman, who since transitioned. And I studied under Professor Burton for about 3 years, and 5 years later I ended up taking over the class. I now been teaching the class for 10 years. I've taught over 800 students, adult students, etymology, which is the origin and history of words. I teach vocabulary building, poetry, dictionary study skills. I've also invited a number of guest speakers over the years. So etymology is a very important field of study. And as you will find out during the course of the interview.
Is it important for the Moors to also get into the etymology?
Yes. If you look at etymology, it'll give you a vehicle by which to understand the true meaning of words. Oftentimes, words are layered with connotated meanings and distorted. So when you're reading the word, you're not getting the true concept and true cognitive thinking as the language is in the culture. What etymology would do is open up a whole new world of thinking for you and putting you in the right track of thought and understanding, and also on how words are suppressed as far as this true meaning is concerned.
Give me an example of connotative meaning.
Yes.
Give me an example of what you
mean by that. All right, so let's look at, we have what's called denotation and connotation. Now, the root word note means to mark, signify. And for example, you have chair. The word chair, you have the thought, the word, and the referent. The word chair denotes this object that I'm sitting on. Now, connotation, what it does, it actually moves you from the object. Connotated meanings are abstract thoughts. So you have concrete, which is this chair. You have abstract. The word key. The word key denotes an object that's used to open up a door. Also, the word key connotes a new beginning. And people use the key to denote a new beginning, a new passageway. That's what's called connotation, is the abstract thought. What the Greeks did when they translated the Hebrew text into what they called the Septuagint, they developed a system of abstract thought. Hebrew is a concrete agricultural-based language. To suppress the culture, the agricultural-based language, the Greeks came up with this abstract thought. So now when you go into the Hebrew or you go into the Bible, you're reading connotatively, whereas the culture, which is abstract, which is concrete and agricultural based, is suppressed. The word consider, as an example. The word consider means to observe the stars carefully. Sidereal means star, and you have the prefix, which means see with, together like, which is C-O-N, con. And the entry-level meaning, you have your etymological brackets, and you have your entry-level meanings, which we are accustomed to being presented with. What's called, you have your 1, your 2, your 4, 5, and so forth. That's what's called your entry-level meaning. In the entry-level meaning of the dictionary, in modern English dictionary, you will not see to observe the stars carefully for the word consider. What they did was they X'd out the star or the referent and thereby created a connotated meaning. So connotated meanings are created in that way where the reference point is removed, i.e. the word star. So when people say consider, they use a connotative meaning to think, to ponder, but it means to think or ponder about the stars.
So are these add-on lessons, or did Prophet Noble Drew Ali teach this?
Well, you have what in the temple you have what's called the adept chamber. And the adept chambers are getting adept knowledge or lessons. And I don't know specifically as far as etymology is concerned, because only very few people I know that actually study etymology. But Prophet Ali also said every temple must have a school. We were talking about a full-time school, 5 days a week, and that has not occurred. and of course etymology would be taught in those schools as a basic of the curriculum. So what I do is I actually integrate etymology as part of language studies. I would not advocate etymology be taught as a separate course, but be integrated into language arts. So it wouldn't be like viewed as some elective, some specialty, but integrated as part of the base curriculum in science, social studies, history, because you're dealing with words, geography, and that gives you the proper orientation of that field or thought. So etymology actually orientates you into the right path of thinking. Connotative meanings and distorted meanings take you away from the path. So this is the right path of our ancestral path. Connotative meanings veer us away from our ancestral path. That was done by design.
How important is teaching etymology to the babies, to the children?
Very important. I'm glad you asked that. I teach at one of the schools that I actually adopted. One of my students, who's a European male, he's taken my class 3 or 4 times. And what he did was he brought me in to teach etymology to an entire school in Southwest Philly. And I'm there. In fact, I'll be there tomorrow morning. And I do from K to 5th grade. Etymology, what the young children have done was I used the concept of Bob the Builder so that they can grasp it. When you teach it at a young age, they will develop that knowledge from that point on, and therefore we be given a right thinking and right orientation of thought, and be able to determine what's connotative, what's denotative, what's distorted, and what's real. And so this ability to discern words, discern what's real and what's not real, what's distorted and what is not distorted, is not taught to us. So we've been indoctrinated to believe, whatever was presented to us. In fact, the word education means to lead out. So our children are not indeed educated, they are indoctrination. Doc means to teach, and then in means the prefix into. So we're not educated.
A brother by the name of Lord Abba told me one time that the temple are the real Moors. And he named names like Brother Taj Tariq Bey, the Red Pill, Ali Muhammad. He said, those are not real Moors. Those are not real Moors. So I said, what is a real Moor? What did you mean by those are not real Moors? What is a real Moor, brother? Well, the real Moors are in the temple. This is what Prophet Noble Drew Ali taught. So what is the difference between the temple Moors and the Moors that's out here? Let's say like Taj Bey, you yourself, Sister Roz Bey, and many others. What's the difference?
Well, let me first say that those who attend the temples and those who do not attend the temple are indeed both are Moors. That's first the question. What we have to first understand is what is a Moor. Moor is based on is the nationality of people who are currently classified in the race and ethnic standards of Federal Statistics and Administrative Reporting, and that is in the United States Census Bureau as Negro, colored, and black. That's a classification that actually takes our people outside the constitutional fold of government. Moor is based on our consanguinity, ancestry, lineage, descent, bloodline, birth line, genealogy, which cannot be changed or altered. So now the question is, what do they mean? Are they viewing Moor in the political sense that those who do not attend the temple are not real Moors? Now keep in mind, Drew Ali established the Moorish Science Temple first in 1913, the old Canaanite Temple in Newark, New Jersey, and later the Moorish Science Temple as a vehicle to bring our people back into the constitutional fold of government. So temples are very important as a political institution, but keep in mind that that's a vehicle, an institutional vehicle to bring our people back into government as our people are outside the constitutional form of government, being classified as Negro, colored, black in United States Census Bureau. The concept of the Moorish Science Temple has been limited. They view the Moorish Science Temple as the nation, not knowing that Juali said, question, in the Moorish questionnaire, how old is the Moorish flag? It is over 10,000 years old. You can't have a flag without a nation. So since the Moorish flag is over 10,000 years old, the Moorish nation is over 10,000 years old. Mm-hmm. So are they saying that the Moorish Science Temple is the nation? It is not. It is a vehicle to restore our sovereignty. Currently, Morocco, where you are right now, the name America is a dialectical corruption of the name Morocco. The United States is an occupational European colonial government that currently has occupational rule over Morocco. And this lessons is not actually taught to the general public. So Juali, what he did was began the political process in 1913 officially to restore more sovereignty. You must bring the people back into constitutional form of government. First, nationalizing them, calling them to national attention. As long as our people are classified as Negro, colored, black, they have no judicial standing, no standing in law, because they're not in their proper person.
What should our people?
Go ahead.
What should our people identify themselves as? What should they call themselves?
Moors.
Okay.
That's who we are.
So if they call themselves Moors,
yes.
If all of us was to come together and say we are the Moors,
yes.
Do you think we will get more respect from the so-called white man?
Absolutely. What happens is, because what you're now doing is you're strengthening this national sovereignty. See, the divisions weakens the national sovereignty. You have temples who do not speak to each other. Moorish Science temples are those who deal with what they call the founding temples, established by Nuwa Jali. You have temples that were established by Dingo Air, what they call the reincarnated temple. And then the other reincarnated temples that were established, they don't even talk to each other. So you have someone, when someone in the Moorish Science Temple would ask you, are you a member of the temple, Moorish Science Temple? They'll ask you, which one? Founded temple, reincarnated temple?
And that is unfortunate.
And that's division.
And the reason I say that's unfortunate, because you'll find the division in every group. Like you got a group of Hebrew Israelites, they don't speak to certain groups of Hebrews,
absolutely.
But they all read the same Bible. And they say he don't know it, or they not teaching the right Bible. It's just crazy. Just like you got Muslims. They don't all say they are the same Muslim. That is unfortunate, man. That's the division in our community, brother.
Well, politically, that's the division, absolutely. Mm-hmm. But we are united by one blood. We are all Moors. Politically, nothing politically makes us Moors. It's based on our genetics, our consanguinity. So the concept of Moor has been not clearly understood. You have those who see Moor as a religion. We have, these are a group of black people calling themselves Moors as their religion. Absolutely not. No one is black. Moors are classified as black, but Moors are not black. We've been conditioned by the race concept, this modern race concept that was developed by Francois Bernier, Bernier, who lived in the 1600s, Carl Linnaeus, Linnaeus, and Johann Friedrich Blumenbach. Carl Linnaeus in the 1750s came up with the official scientific classification of black, white, red, and yellow. His protege in 1795 added the fifth class brown. So when you hear people say, even scholars will say, doesn't matter what color are you, doesn't matter what you are, black, white, purple, orange, or red. Where did that come from? Because there are not nationalities. Those are descriptions. So if you're talking about identifying yourself, you certainly wouldn't use an adjective. You would have to use a proper noun that actually denotes a national sovereignty, a nation state. black, red, orange, purple, yellow, green do not denote a nation state nor a national sovereignty. So our Moors classified as Negro, colored, black in the United States Census Bureau have no concept of nationality. And my book called Moorish Masonry, which will be out in the spring, I have a chapter 3 of the book is titled Teaching Nationality to over 5,000 students in the Kansas City Public Schools, which I have done over a period of 10 years as a substitute teacher. And I've been fortunate to have had the opportunity to do that, because if I didn't, this chapter would not even exist.
The Hebrew Israelites make the same claim that you make, in the sense of we are all Hebrews.
Okay.
That is our nationality.
Okay.
You say we are all Moors. If I was to get an imam right here, he would say we are all Muslims.
All right. Can I?
This is the confusion, brother.
All right.
Do you see that as being confused our people?
Yes. Let me go on
Go
that.
ahead, help me out.
Let me help you out. The imam who claims to be a Muslim, though he is, because it deals with the muscles, tissues, and bones, the anatomy of the body. All right. That
Hold on.
Yes.
Break that down.
Let me break that down. Let me first. I'm going to break that down. But let's deal with this. The imam who claims to be a Muslim would not have a nationality card with that on it. So most likely that imam is classified as Negro, colored, black in the United States Census Bureau. Mm-hmm. The brother or sister who's claimed to be Hebrew Israelite will not have a nationality card that reads Hebrew Israelite. All right. I have every job I've been on since I've been nationalized, since 1993. I have a Moorish nationality identification card identifying myself as a Moor. Mm-hmm. So not only yes. So not only am I claiming that verbally, I've done it politically. I've sent paperwork to the banks, the schools that I went to, and so forth. When I talk to those who claim to be Hebrew Israelites, I ask them, have they done the same? And they say no. Well, if you believe you're Hebrew and you're teaching people that we're all Hebrew, well, then where's your nationality card? You do question. Work. So have you clarified your legal status at your job? Because you classified as black at your job. Even if you didn't fill it, even if you didn't check it off, their paperwork that I find will be in my book, chapter 2 of my book, that the employer is instructed to, if it's left blank, to fill it out based on observation. So they will fill that out. You must clarify your legal status. The hospital, wherever you are. So have you clarified, speaking to those who claim to be Hebrew Israelites, have they clarified their legal status on the record? Or are they just saying that they're Hebrew Israelites, but there's no political action on it? They're just standing on the streets. They're just standing on the street and saying we're all Hebrew Israelites. But there has to be some political action because they're classified as Negro, colored, black in the United States Census Bureau. So my question is, have they clarified that classification that they're not black and that they're Hebrew?
Good question.
Brother, they have not. I've asked about 100 of them and not one of them, but it said no, they haven't. So that's the first question, because we want to be, we for those who be listening to this, be clear on what the political status is.
Were our people Hebrews?
Our people are Moors.
But all right. I'm quite sure you could find Hebrews in history at a certain period of time.
Now you have what's with it, it's Eber.
Yeah, no, and then those let's take it here. Let's take it here.
Because you want me to also clarify more too. Right. Muslim. So I'm going to do that
before we go back into the Hebrews, let's deal with the Muslims.
Let's deal with the Moors. Let's deal with that.
What does the word Moor actually mean? Because I know you hear it all the time when our people say Moor simply means black.
All right.
What does that really mean?
And great question. Your questions are very good and very insightful. And I thank you for that. Now, in Greek, Moor means black. In Greek, see, you have to know, now this going back to etymology.
Yeah, that's deep. That's right.
Is that you just can't blurt out and say a word means this or that. My question would be is, what is the language label? Because you got to understanding when the etymology deals with the history, origin, and true meaning of the words. Now you got to keep in mind, semantics, a semanticist will look at how a word acquires connotated meanings over a period of centuries. So now is, in Greek, Moor means black. Moor doesn't mean black. In Greek, Moor means black.
I got you.
Yeah, just to say Moor means black. And I have scholars have made that claim, and they'll just keep it, Moor means black. And they'll go to the Greek. Hold on. The word didn't begin in Greek. There's other languages that's older than Greek. So you have the Berber language. In the Berber languages, Moor means land. And the Berber languages are older than the Greek languages. So when did that meaning come about? And why did it come about? Let's go back to Carl Linnaeus, Francois Bernier, and Johann Friedrich Blumenbach. What they did was they developed a construct where they classified the human family based on 4 constructs. Skin tone, facial features, hair texture, and cranial size. Our people, classified as Negro, color, black in the United States Census Bureau, are used to what? The skin tone paradigm. But that's one construct. So it seems to me that the connotated meaning of black in Greek goes along with this modern race construct of classifying people based on skin tone as one construct. So they did that to what? To suppress the identity. So what they did, what happened was they took Moor out of its national origin category and placed it into a skin color. Carl Linnaeus, Francois Bernier, Johann Friedrich Blumenbach, with the classifying people based on skin tone, hair texture, cranial size, and facial features.
Beautiful. Now, I know you hear a lot too. See, I want to hit you with some of the questions that we face every day outside.
I love it.
When the people come around and they building and you hear these things come up. They say, well, you know, Moor was given to us by the slave master. I'm quite sure you heard that. We was named after the white man gave us the term Moor. You ever heard that before?
Yeah, I have that too.
Go in on that.
All right. Let me first, before I go on that, let's first address the term white man and then slave master.
Go ahead.
A slave is a Slovakian, an Eastern European national. So the slaves, or Slavic, did not enslave the Moors. All right? The Germanic tribes did. So you have the Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, the Baltic states, those are slaves or Slavic people. Our people do not, Moors classified as Negro, color, black, United States Census Bureau, do not transact business in slave names. Germanic family names, but not slave names. Slave names are Slavic names. Czechoslovakian, Yugoslavian, the Baltic states, those are slave names. Brockington, Smith, Jones, Johnson, McNabb, O'Reilly, Washington, and so forth are not slave names. They're Germanic family names. Dutch, Danish, Swedish, German, Old High German, English, those are what's called Germanic family names, but not slave names. So that I want to clear that up first. White. White is a legal status having nothing to do with complexion. They also fooled that. Black is a legal status having nothing to do with complexion. Meaning that George Bush could be black. Not complexion, legal status. Black, white being white referring to the sovereign. So what the Europeans did was took our status So Europeans are claiming to be the sovereign of the land with the title white. And white referring to the majority. Not numbers, but the sovereign status. So this is the whole key of, so the Europeans are playing this technology with us and got us thinking that black and white referring to complexion, when it's fact referring to legal status. So now the question is, when I did this presentation in February of this past year, and it's titled Analyzing Black History. Is black a nationality, skin color, or legal status? Great question. It's a legal status. Definitely not a nationality. All right, so it's very important to clarify words, the term white man and slave.
They say that more was given to us by our enemy, by the Caucasian, by the so-called white man.
Now, in Arabic, more is maglid. Maglid is transliterated from Arabic into the Greek as more. So it wasn't given to us by the Europeans. It's just a modern form. Meaning that you have every word that we ever speak has an ancient origin. These Europeans did not develop root words. They transliterated root words from an ancient origin. Example, the word black. Black comes from the Indo-European root, Indo implying Sanskrit. Bleg, B-H-L-E-G. So now you have the modern form black, B-L-A-C-K, being traced to the Indo-European root, Bleg, B-H-L-E-G. In German, in Greek rather, it is phlegian, P-H-L-E-G-E-I-N. So the BH in the proto-Semitic transliterates to the PH in Greek. When you talk about transliteration, you have trans and litera. Litera means letter. Trans is the prefix or cross. So we look about cross the letter. BH to PH. Then you have in the PH, as you know, in Greek transliterates to the F in Latin. So it's phlegiare, F-L-A-G-R-A-R-E in Latin. And then you have your Danish or your Dutch, B-L-A-K-K-R. Modern English, B-L-A-C-H. So they didn't give any words. They transliterated. Europeans didn't come up with words. They transliterated words from an ancient root. Yes.
You know?
My book, Moorish Adept, chapter 1 of my book, dealing with the diplomatic relations between the Moroccan Empire and the European powers between the 1500s and 1800s, between the same time period of the so-called transatlantic slave trade. That's why I'm focusing on that time period, 1500 to the 1800s. During that time period, we Moors had Europeans enslaved. You have what's called Robert Davis of Ohio State University states that he estimates over 1 million Europeans were captured and enslaved by the Moors from the 15 to 1800s. You don't read this in the schools now.
Wow.
1 million.
Damn.
We seized their ships. I have treaties dating back to the 1600s. Where we're negotiating what's called tribute treaties, where Europeans had to pay annual tribute to Morocco, and that tribute would be in gold, silver, porcelain spoons, and so forth. And the European, this has been suppressed now. The Europeans' navy and political policies were directly influenced by the Moors. As we seized hundreds of their ships and hundreds of thousands, they were what they called, what's called European captivity narratives. Europeans who were in captivity by the Moors, in Moorish captivity, they wrote narratives. They wrote narratives. Once they got released, they wrote narratives while they was in our captivities. And these narratives have been released. Of course, it's not taught in the schools. See, this information is not taught in any European controlled schools. The information is available.
Why do you think that is?
Great question. You said it. They wanted us, they want to portray us as weak. So they can get off that slanted slave trade story. See, in order for them to get off this story that they transported 10 million of us from what is now known as the continent of Africa to the Americas, they had to suppress information. What information did they suppress? That we enslaved them. See, if once you start analyzing this information, that we enslaved them through that same time period, that they were paying annual tribute to us, that we were seizing their ships. Now that changes. Oh, so we were not in this weak position. As you saying that they claimed that they're presenting as we were, you know, that we were docile and weak. Bro, there were Europeans who petitioned the kings and queens of Europe to intervene. Every time Europeans were captured by the Moors, their lists were posted throughout England, France, Germany. This was public knowledge. So they suppressed that, any information. Now, the children, I've taught nationality to over 5,000 students in the Kansas City public schools. Not one student even heard of the nationality Moor. Why is that? You're talking about extensive diplomatic relations between the Moroccan Empire and the European powers during the same time period of the so-called slave trade. Also, let's talk about the diplomatic relationship between Morocco and the United States. In 1787, in 1786, June of 1786, Al Sultan Muhammad ibn Abdullah signed the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Barack Obama mentioned that the longest standing and unbroken treaty in the world is between the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between Morocco and the United States. Bill Clinton mentioned the same in 2000. Hillary Clinton mentioned the same a couple years ago, actually last year. So why isn't this information about the Treaty of Peace and Friendship not taught in the schools? Between the administration of Washington and John Adams, the United States paid annually. Bro, between that administration, $10 million in tribute to Morocco. This is not, why this isn't taught? An annual tribute, bro. Why they suppress? Now the question is, what's the political motive of suppressing this information? What I'm showing is that the direct relationship is to suppress the fact that we're here, that we're Aboriginal in addition to the Americas, and that they came up with this slave trade story. There's a book called Unexpected Faces in Ancient America by Alexander von Wutenau. Wutenau is German. W is a German sound. W-U-T-H-E-N-A-U A-N-A-U. Wutenau. Unexpected Faces in Ancient America. You can go on my website and get all, and what I did was I scanned each photo.
What's
in
your
the
website?
book.
Make sure you get
my
that.
website. MoorishCivilLetter.net. MoorishCivilLetter.net. Go to the photo gallery and you'll see all the pictures. Not one picture. Please look at these images. Not one. Not one figurine. Not one terracotta. Not one stone head. Not one mask look like the people that you see in the textbooks they call Indians. Not one. I also went to the American Indian Museum in Washington D.C., one of the Smithsonian museums, and I took pictures of every book cover in the bookstore, every book cover, and all the book covers. I took pictures of about 100 book covers. They all look like Europeans. They all look like they're Europeans. What you see there on the reservations, but they don't match. Their phenotype does not match the phenotype of the stoneheads, the masks, the figurines in Unexpected Faces in Ancient America. Now the question is, why did he call it Unexpected Faces in Ancient America? Let's analyze the title. So a lot of times I analyze things. Why Unexpected Faces in Ancient America? You know why? Because we've been indoctrinated to believe that the ancient people look more like Europeans.
I was
in the
told,
textbooks.
Talk to me about the word nigger.
I love
A
it.
lot of us don't like to be called nigger. Then you'll find people defending it, saying, well, nigger is naga, brother. I mean, you just don't, you got to know the history. There's a brother by the name of Larry who his fight is trying to get people to stop using the word nigger. And the people he fighting is telling them, yo, you got to go into the history. You got to go and look up the word naga. You got to go into it. They showing them, even with some of the Medu Netta, Brother General Sarasut Seti showed him where nigga, naga, was written, carved in stone. He's still in denial about it. What does the word nigga mean?
What did he say? What, all right, because that's important.
This is what he said.
Yeah. What did he say, and what it was his? How did he refute it?
Okay.
Before we,
the brother Larry says nigga come from the white man. When he would beat our ancestors with the whip, he would say, "Get that nigga, kill that nigga."
All right,
and every time he beat him, he would use the word nigga.
Title in Sanskrit, the swastika, dealing with good luck, healing power. So the Europeans attach a negative connotative meaning. Let me use other words too as I'm talking.
Go ahead.
The word sin, so they can get the bigger picture. The word sin in Sumerian, S-I-N.
Okay.
And Sumerian means moon. So the Europeans applied a distorted connotative meaning because the moon is also attached to the ancient moon and lunar calendar. So the Europeans, they're doing is suppressing the culture. They're attacking the culture. They themselves use it because there's nothing else to use. But they don't want us to use it. They don't want us to understand the moon calendar and how it ties to the cycles of women menstruation. The word menstruation, month, menses means moon. So that because they know that the power, they understand the power of our culture, understand the power of the word nigger, moon, sin, and its ancient culture context. So they want us to be, as I said before, etymology puts you on this right path, right ancestral path. What the Europeans are doing is veering us off of it. Nigger, hate, hit nigger, don't say nigger, bury the word nigger. No, we're not going to bury the word nigger. And we can connect with the youth because the youth are already saying it. Keep on saying it, youth. Right on. We got the youth. We got the youth. Now, what we're going to do, now the youth are going to start doing this. My nigger, my kundalini energy, rise my higher mind science. That's power.
Go into the etymology of it. Because he always try to break down the word and tell you nigger came from, you know, the Germans or something. You know.
But that's Marvin though. So you see when he's saying German,
that's
right,
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, right. See what happens is he's limiting his research. As I said before, no root word. The Europeans did not establish any root words. The root words don't originate in Germanic languages. They're transliterated. You can trace the root, the Germanic languages words formed into a Indo-European root. I gave you the word black. The Indo-European root for black, once again, is bleg, B-H-L-E-G. It means shine. I didn't give you the etymology of it. It means shine.
Hold up for 1 minute. Hey, yo, Larry. I want to ask you, where does the word nigger come from?
It's the mispronunciation of the Spanish word negro.
See.
They pronounce it negra. And when they anglicize it and put it in their lexicons, they use ER instead of RA. Now, in so saying, the Dutch ship that landed in 1619, the Dutch form of the word negro is N-E-G-A-R. Right? Now, when you hear the Dutch pronunciation, it's not hard to see where they get that shit from, man. It comes from negro. Remember, they was trading in people, and we all became known by the trader word.
What it mean? What's the meaning of the word nigger?
Meaning of the word negro Negro means black, but nigga don't mean black.
How did it come out? How did that meaning come out?
How did that meaning come about? How did that meaning come about?
How did now? Remember.
Yeah,
How did the meaning nigga come about?
Remember the application. Remember they're using our people as slave labor, right? So they're demoralizing and demeaning them, and they're driving them like you drive cattle. You understand? And when you drive cattle, you prong them and you drive them. Well, that was their driving word, man. You know, it became a pejorative. It became like a nasty way of referring to one of us.
What does it mean, though?
What does it mean? I got you on film, and I'm talking to the brother. What does it mean, though?
That's okay. What I'm saying to you, when you ask me what does it mean, it doesn't have a meaning in the sense that you would define a word, okay? Because it is a corruption of a word. To give you an example, to make you know that corruptions of words can then become word corruption of a phrase in Arabic. And now it's a word that they use for the highest ranking officer in the Navy. But it's not an actual word. It don't actually have a meaning. It comes from a phrase, Emir al-Bahara, and they couldn't pronounce it. So they came up with Admiral. You understand? So when you say, what does it mean? What does it mean now? It means the highest ranking officer in the Navy.
Do you study etymology? Do you think etymology is important?
Etymology is important if you're studying linguistics, if you're studying language, if you're studying grammatical structure.
What is the etymology of the word? What is the etymology of the word nigger?
Once again, now, when you talk about the etymology of the word nigger, you have to deal with the application of the mispronunciation of the word negro. Now, I have to run and take my wife somewhere, so...
All right, I'll get back to you. So we heard the brother's definition and what he mean by the word nigger.
He didn't give... He went to the Latin.
Okay.
And he said it means black in Latin.
Negro. That's
Negro.
Right.
Then he said that
nigger don't have a meaning.
Right. He said that it's a corruption. Nigger is a corruption of the word Negro. All right. And so now, so we asked him what the meaning is. It doesn't have a meaning, and it's a corruption of it. But it's a connection there, though. All right. We said that words are given transliterated into modern forms. As I've said before, they're giving the letters or sounds of shifts. So what he did was he explained a sound shift.
I'm doing an interview, man.
He explained the sound shift, but said that though because there's a corruption, it can't be tied to the word Negro in Latin. Now, keep in mind, Latin is not an ancient language. Latin is a Indo-European language. It's not an ancient language, and it has those Latin roots have a Indo-European root, so it has a more ancient origin. So he's starting with the Latin as if Latin it began in Latin. It didn't begin in Latin. None of these words began in Latin. They have an ancient root. An Indo-European root. As once again, the Indo-European root for phlegier, which is Latin, is B-H-L-E-G, which is for black. That's what it is, and that's what it is in Latin.
Okay.
Now, but black doesn't mean. See, black doesn't denote this.
Right.
See, this is where black doesn't denote this. Black means shine, bright.
Right, you can point to your kufi.
Yeah. Black doesn't denote this.
Right.
Now the question is, how is it that black comes to denote this what we're looking at, this color? When you burn ashes or paper or wood, it turns into what? What does it look like? You know, it begins to look like this and then turn into white.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the word black means burn or shine. Doesn't refer to this. So what happens is people are taking the modern connotative meaning and retroacting the connotative meaning to a time period which it exists. And that's what I see a lot of people do. You know, they'll say, for instance, well, we got to find a word in Hebrew or Arabic or Sanskrit that's equivalent to black. But you're carrying the modern connotative meaning.
What about Kim?
Exactly. But see, what we're saying is we're translating it into a modern connotative meaning. Because we're using the modern reference as our base.
Right.
We're not using the ancient reference as our base.
Go ahead. There you go.
Yeah. We're starting from modern and then going to the ancient.
It's not going to work like that.
That's where the problem is. And this is important. Mm-hmm. That we understand the dynamics of studying words. And
so if Brother Larry was to go back to the ancient definition of it,
yes,
he'll see where it comes out of.
He's starting
with the modern day
now.
Yes,
he is.
He got to go back further than that.
Yeah,
he got to come off them trees and go down into the root.
Go down to the root of it.
Okay, let's move forward quick.
Move forward.
What I want to deal with is, you talked about how the Moors had the Europeans in slavery.
Yes.
Why? Why did they put them in slavery? Why? What was it about the Europeans that they wanted to put them in slavery?
Well, you're dealing with...
How did they view them?
All right. Well, you're looking at the nations,
mm-hmm.
the European nations. You have Portugal, Spain, you have France, the Netherlands, you had England, Germany, and we traded with them. So we set up treaties, various treaties with them, and as Moors we violated the treaties. We violated a lot of the treaty agreements, and because they would have to pay us an annual tribute to pass along the seas. We would still seize their ships despite their paying us the annual tribute. And we would increase when we were ruthless. We would increase the tribute every time a bey ascended the throne. You know, we were despotic and greedy. We wanted more and more. And so what they make it appear that it was some pirates who were not connected to a national sovereignty. That was not true. These nation states weren't paying annual tribute to pirates. They were paying annual tribute to a government. See, they don't show that in these movies.
Who were the pirates?
The Moors. But keep in mind, in the movies they show that these were the individuals, but it was the individuals that were connected to a government. So these governments were paying the European governments were paying annual tribute to the Moroccan Empire.
Right. So when you see the skull and bones,
yes,
is that a sacred symbol?
Yes, it is a sacred symbol. The skull and bones in Egypt.
Right. When you see the pirates,
you see the cross. You see huge statues in Karnak, and they have their arms crossed. And they'll have a ankh and both hands. One.
That's right.
And what that represents is based in astronomy. This when you see this here, that is the galactic cross. That's the intersection of the ecliptic and the galactic. That's called the galactic cross.
I'm saying this is called. You know, when they show it to you on the flag,
yes,
you got the cross, and then you got a skull right there.
Yes.
So you're saying that's our symbol.
That's our symbol.
Mm-hmm.
That's our symbol. You also see that same symbol carved in a stone in Mexico. I saw it on the internet. You see that carved right in the stone. I said, oh, that's where they got it from. And then you also said they'll do this in masonry. They'll do this in masonry. You have their hand up like this. You have the St. George's flag and the St. Andrew's flag, which is called the double cross. So the double cross representing the intersection of the tropical cross, the 4 seasons, all right? The tropical cross, and and then you have the galactic cross. That's what's called double cross.
Right.
They got this from us. The skull, Jesus, we talking allegorical.
Right.
Jesus carried the cross to Calvary. The word Calvary in Greek is Golgotha. It means skull. And the skull relating to the higher brain senses, the mind. So what they did was they're distorting the culture. Meaning, I'm not even, see, what we got to do is we got to even take the modern form and trace it to its origin. We just by saying what's corrupted. That's a corrupted form. Yes, it's modern, it's corrupted, but then let's talk about the linguistic methodology in which that came about. Let's talk about metastasis. Let's talk about epenthesis, the historical sound changes that came about. Because they took from a modern form, an ancient form, to create this modern form, the alphabet. The alphabet are ours, even in its modern forms. So you say, well, that's corrupted. But how did that come about, though? How did they develop the letter A, this form? And Phoenician is this, upside down. Mm-hmm. But that's the proper form. This is not the proper way, the way our children write it.
Right.
It's inverted. Now, what does that denote? The bull. So the letters actually are words, and actually have a agricultural glyph that's connected to it. Now, so the bull relating to, we use the bulls for plowing, and also it's the sign Taurus. So it's also an astronomical sign and agriculture meaning, which is suppressed. So when our children learn A, B, C, D, E, F, G, they're not learning the agriculture connection, the astronomical connection, that the ancient calendar signs. They're not learning that. They just think that A, what's a letter? It's a word. Aleph. Beth. The children aren't learning that.
Right.
That's what they're suppressing.
Okay, brother. Powerful teaching. Powerful
right.
teaching. Where do the Moors fit in ancient Kemet? Are they the same people?
Yes, we are the same people. It's the same culture. It's only one. It's the whole concept of this multiculturalism is a modern European sociological term. There's no such thing as many cultures. All these various symbols have a common origin. They're all connected. They're all interrelated. We talked about the cross, the symbols, mm-hmm. all right, and how that's all over the world. Look at the swastika. The swastika is worldwide. So they gotta see the Germans in the 1930s hired Near Eastern scholars to translate the Bhagavad Gita and other Vedic texts. And the Europeans are controlling the meaning of the words. They're controlling the symbols. They're controlling our mind by indoctrinating us to these modern distorted meanings. So we don't see this whole concept that we're different races. That's modern. That's Carl Linnaeus, Francois Bernard, Johann Friedrich Baumbach. They came up with that concept. The Chinese race. It's only one race. It's only one race of people.
Do you see us all the same? Are we all the same people, or are we our own people?
We're all the same people.
Including the European?
The Europeans are our children.
Mm-hmm.
So they are offsprings of the mixing of the animal and the European woman. So we use what's called in vitro fertilization. It's not new. It's
the animal.
Cloning's not new. See, now hear me out, bro. There's a fact that cloning exists today. So we don't have to go there. Everybody knows they're doing cloning. They're doing cloning. They're cloning cows. All right. Well, our problem is that we think that the Europeans were the ones that developed that. We cloned the Europeans. The Europeans are cloned. They're a mixed breed of the Moabite woman and the chimpanzee.
Right.
The Moabite woman and the chimpanzee.
See, I just didn't know the science.
In vitro fertilization.
Okay.
Cloning. So we cloned them from us. They're our children. So yes, we're not separate from them. They're not separate from us. They're our children.
So why did the Moors enslave their children?
Great question. Because we certainly have done that.
Why
All right?
did they enslave their children?
Now you mentioned earlier, you asked me a question when you brought that up. Did we not see them as human? That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not fully human. They're half man and half beast. Right. So we've gone through a devolution where our mind, our brain capacity, our pineal gland has shrunken. As I said, the snake has been given a negative connotative meaning. When people call somebody a snake, they're connoting that somebody is wicked, somebody is deceiving. It doesn't mean that.
Right.
Snake refers to a wise person. Wisdom. So if you call me a snake, that's the highest honor you can give me. If you call me a nigger, that's the highest honor you can give me. That's the highest honor. Because the snake is important in ancient world culture. Why did the Europeans attack that? Why is it that the world views snake as deceiver? Why is that? You're talking about that which deals with the manifestation or activation of the DNA in the pineal gland. They attack that. That's why they attack nigger, because it ties to the snake and the activation of the Kundalini energy. Very powerful.
Right.
So feel free to call me a nigger anytime you want.
Yeah, right, my nigga.
Devolution more though, bro?
Yes.
Speak about the devolution a little more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's and definitely on that, T, understanding where we were, and now how have we devolved from where I were. We were able to. The Germans hired Near Eastern scholars in the 1930s to translate the Bhagavad Gita and other Vedic texts into German. And what the Germans discovered from the Near Eastern scholars, that we used Vermatas, which was laden with mercury, and we flew Vermatas with our pineal gland resonance. We were, telepathy, clairvoyance. That's our natural state. We're not in our natural state of mind. We are zombies. So they what they did was that process of shutting down the pineal gland. And so therefore it's calcified. Also, the DNA is a storehouse of knowledge. We don't have to read any book to learn anything. We already know it. See this whole concept of we got to go to school or read books to learn something. No, it's in our DNA. In fact, let me finish this. Let me say this. Right. In fact, reading books suppresses our minds. Why? The connotative meanings. Meaning that you're reading, but you're reading connotatively. So the connotative meaning is being inbred in you. A child already has this knowledge. So a child is more pure. A child born at 5 o'clock this morning is more advanced than us. Our child, I know it may sound crazy. I know. Those who understand, because they don't understand it. That's fine. All right? Because a child born at 5 o'clock this morning is not tainted with layers of connotative meanings, distorted paradigms. So that cellular memory is already in that child. And so that child is closer to that cellular memory because they're not tainted with Carl Linnaeus, Francois Bernier, Johann Frederick Boom paradigms. With the snake being evil, nigger being evil, as an example. The child knows that because it's already in us. So understanding how the brain works, that the DNA is a storehouse of knowledge. The knowledge to build the pyramids is already in us. They don't want us to know that. Now let me go on. You have this scale called the Italian. What he did was his name is Solfeggio, Solfeggio. And what he did was he uncovered actually the ancient musical scale that we use to activate the higher mind senses. The Germans, and here the Germans again, in the 1930s, they developed this modern musical scale for mind control. So they're controlling our minds through this modern scale. Music. We're not talking lyrics. We're not talking lyrics. We're talking at the scale. in which the music is developed on. That's taught here in this part of the Moroccan Empire called the United States. In the 1950s, an international conference, all the group agreed that this modern skill will be used. They're controlling our mind through music. So we got to restore the ancient musical scale to activate the DNA and higher brain senses. And also through spirituality, which is breathing. Spiritus in Latin means breathing. So you're dealing with not the way we breathe right now. We're talking about controlled breathing, different methods of breathing that will activate the higher brain centers, sending more oxygen to the brain, activating those higher brain neurons. So go ahead.
How do you make the connection between the Moors and the Masons? Because I see your video.
All right.
How do you make that connection?
Yes. Moorish connection to Masonry. I did this presentation in July at the King Solomon Grand Lodge in Washington, D.C. Now,
why should the people buy that? Why should they buy that? Go in on that.
Why the people should buy this? Because what I actually show is that the symbolism, the rituals, the headdresses are actually the Moorish culture. You have the ancient Arabic order of the nobles of the Mr. Shrine uses the Moorish governmental structure called the Imperial Divan. So they adopted the Imperial Divan, which is the Moorish governmental council, and they use that as their structure and their organizational structure. Divan is spelled D-I-V-A-N. The titles Imperial Potentate, Royal Monarch, Sovereign Grand Commander, and Illustrious are titles that actually belong to us. They're political titles that actually apply to His Imperial Majesty Muhammad ibn Abdullah or any other emperors or empress. So they simply adopted those political titles and using them as organizational titles. The title noble. You have those who think that a noble is a Shriner. No. Noble is someone of high ranking birth. It's birthright. So what they did was they adopted the titles and used them as their organization. That's what I go into. I also go into, that's one part of it. I also go into the astronomy and geometry of Masonry. We go into the Boaz and Joachim. Boaz and Joachim denote the lunar solar calendar. Boaz denotes the sun. Joachim denotes the moon. So you're looking at the lunar solar calendar. The Masonic altar. The Masonic altar is the Egyptian unit of measurement. It's what's called a cubit. So the Masonic altar denotes a measurement called the cubit. And today it's called doubling the cube. Because it used to just be one cubit. Now there's two cubes. That's called doubling the cube. You have the Masonic tracing board. The Masonic tracing board or Freemasonry tracing board deals with you have your three pillars. And your three pillars representing during July 4th, which is our holiday, was called the Egyptian New Year. On July 4th, it was called the heliacal rising of Sirius, where the sun and Sirius rise at the same time. They're in conjunction. And then during that time, you have what's called the celestial or great conjunction. Set the steps. The first set of steps has 3 steps denoting Orion, the 3 pole stars of the Orion belt. The second set of stairs, 5 denoting Taurus, which is a constellation of 5 stars, and the third set of stairs are 7 denoting the constellation of Pleiades, 7 stars. And then you have the all-seeing eye, Sirius, the dog star. So that's where I go into. That's part 2. That's why they should buy it. And as a result of this, I've been able to connect with a lot of Masons, over hundreds of Masons, through other people like yourself, like Red Pill, Admiral in Washington, D.C.
If they want to get that, how could they purchase that? Do you have a website?
Yes, I have a website.
Say that.
Yes, I have a website. You can purchase this from my website called moorishciviletter.net, moorishciviletter.net. And then you also have it as well. All right.
But they're going to support you, brother.
Yes.
I want them people to support
Absolutely.
you. So you can go ahead and keep doing this work right here.
Absolutely.
Do you have any questions for the brother? Why don't you sit there?
I want to know.
Sit there, man.
So you in camera. Yeah, you want camera. That's what.
Yeah, the people ain't see you in a minute, brother. Come on, man. Don't do that, man.
I want to know.
People want to see who's talking.
I want to know what is your interpretation of nationality?
All right, great question.
That's a good question.
Great
I
question.
didn't deal with that.
Yeah.
Yes. Now you're looking at the word nationality, and in Latin, natio means being born. So we're looking at genetics, genealogy, ancestry, lineage, descent, consanguinity, and looking at your birth connection, your birth lineage. So that's what the nationality ties to. So now the nationality ties you to a national sovereignty, a landmass, a flag, national flag, a national government seal, a government. Negro, colored, and black displaces you from your nativity. So that's what the Europeans did. So now we're stateless people. I mean, though we have a state by birthright, we have no knowledge of it. And we're not connected to our political state as long as we're classified as Negro, colored, black. Nationality is important because it actually brings you into the constitutional fold of government and allows you to be recognized by the family of nations. In 1789, there were 8 Moors who petitioned the South Carolina House of Representatives for a clarification of their legal status. They wanted to be sure, after purchasing their freedom, that if they would be brought up on charges, that they would be tried under constitutional law and not under the Nigger Act. The House of Representatives ruled that these 8 Moors were indeed Moors and not be subject to the Nigger Act. This is key, because our people are being tried as property and don't even know it. Because we have not been taught the true history, the concept of nationality, we think that identity is based on our complexion. But with that guy, we talked about calling names, Francois Pernere and Johann Friedrich Baumbach, in its modern race concept. If we're going back to that, as I said before, they classified the human family based on 4 constructs: skin tone, hair texture, cranial size, and phenotype, facial structure. So that concept of skin tone, identity being associated with skin tone, has been embedded in us. So this is all we know. I'm black. I saw somebody down the street. What color are they? Black or white? And that's all we know. We can't, Mr. Bey, what are you? Are you black or white? Remember, we've been trained to think that way. Mm-hmm. That's inbred in us. Out of 5,000 students in the Kansas City public schools, only 1 student asked me this question: Mr. Bey, what is your nationality? He first asked me, what are you? I paused. This is my book, chapter 3. I paused for about 30 seconds. Then he said, what's your nationality? So I walked over to him. I said, you mind my asking you where you from? He said, my family's from Trinidad and Tobago. I said, all right. I said, the only reason I asked because out of thousands of students, you're the only one to ask me, quote, what is my nationality? You did begin by asking me, what am I? But you corrected that. How did you, so I asked, I wanted to know, how did you know to do that? Because I'm saying the students don't ask, what is your nationality? They ask, what are you? They don't ask the specific political question.
Something triggered in him to bring
right. What triggered in him, he already knew it. His family's from Trinidad and Tobago. They already had a national concept of nationality. That's why. Mm-hmm. So he was brought up with that.
Can you share with the family the concept of the Americas and the European being the true illegal alien to the Americas? Him not, because you often hear people denationalize themselves and just give the European America like, oh, this is not my land, this is their land.
You have a pen?
Can you just speak in layman's terms to the fact that this European is a usurper of this land?
All right. Mm-hmm.
This land being owned, or rather claimed, and explain what excheating is, and explain with the heir to the throne and things of that nature is.
Right.
All right.
You have America and Americas, the Americas. Now, when people use the Americas, they referring to North America, Central America, South America, and the islands. When the general public uses the word America, they're referring to this landmass, what they call the United States. Mm-hmm. They don't refer when they don't use America to refer to South America, North America, and the adjoining islands. So what the Europeans have done was they've claimed ownership of the name America and has given it a limited geographical reference point. They only refer to America as this part right here, but it's limited. America refers to all of it. The word America denotes North America, Central America, South America, and the islands. Meaning that if someone was born in Haiti, lived their entire life in Haiti, and died in Haiti, and never touched this part of America, they're still an American. And all right, going back to that example, so we be clear on America. The name America also refers to Haiti, South Colombia. Meaning, if you were born, raised, lived your entire life, and died in Haiti, you would have died in America. If you were born in Colombia, you were born in America. Born in Mexico, you were born in America. Born in Peru, you were born in America. Born in Argentina, you were born in America. El Salvador, you were born in America. The Europeans have limited the word to just this area.
Corporation.
All right. No, we just talking about landmass. No, we talking landmass. This is the land. This denotes a landmass. They limited the word America to just this landmass. They don't extend the word America to Haiti, all right, to Peru, to El Salvador, to Cuba, all right, to Mexico, when in fact that's the proper use of the word. So they're claiming ownership. They also have defined America in the 1921 Webster's New International Dictionary gives 3 definitions of America. American. An Aboriginal or one of the color copper natives found in America by the Europeans. Copper tone. An Aboriginal or one of the copper-colored natives found in America, copper-colored natives found in America by the Europeans. The original application of the name. Definition number 2. A European immigrant of America.
Who got a penny on it?
All right. I don't have a penny on me. So he's going to do what's called the penny test. The copper, it's called the penny test to determine who's an American, who's not. Or the paper bag. They do what's called the paper bag test. Now, so it's very important to understand that the Europeans have gained ownership, control of the name America. Now, so they're determining who's an American and who's not, when in fact they're not Americans. George Bush is not an American. Hillary Clinton is not an American. Al Gore is not American. It's not based on being born. I mean, see, they
if I was born in China, I'm not Chinese.
Absolutely, right? You're not, absolutely not. See, they got us thinking that being born in, where's the pen again, brother?
It's right there on your lap.
All right. So I want to make. I don't want to leave no stone unturned, brother.
So you're saying they are not American?
This is the misconception. The misconception,
too, don't they?
The misconception is anyone born in this area, this landmass, all right, they'll say is an American. That's false. That's a false paradigm. We got to kill that. That's a false paradigm. It's not based on that. If I were born in China I'm still an American, because American is based in your pedigree, consanguinity, lineage, ancestry, descent, not where you're born. Your national origin, one's national origin is not determined where one is born. One's national origin is determined by the lineage, genealogy of his mother, not where one's born. So they created this false concept, which is a birthright stealing concept. So they now have defined for us what an American is and what is American not. We're refuting that. We're refuting that definition, and we're refuting their false claim that they're Americans. George Bush, Al Gore, George Washington are not Americans and cannot be.
What are they?
They're English, Irish, Scottish, Germans, French. You see why they indoctrinate us with the Colonnades, Francois Bernier, Johann Friedrich Boombach, where our people associate identity with complexion to suppress that. So now they walk around. So you got these Europeans who claim to be American. I was born here. I give a rat's ass. You are English, Irish, French, Dutch. Your descent, lineage, ancestry, pedigree, lineage does not change, is not determined where you're born. If you have a couple, both English, mother's English, the woman is English, the man is English. They married couple. They relocate they move from England to China. While in China, they live in China for 20 years. While in China, they have 3 children. What? The children are Chinese now?
No,
the children were born in China. Now that's part of this concept now. And I bust Europeans' butt on this. I'll bust their butt on this. Now, come on, let's talk. Point. Now, you're saying that you're an American because you was born here. That's what you said. I'm American because I was born here.
That's what they say.
That's what they say. All right. Let's see how that works. Let's see how that works. So you're saying that if you were born in China, would you be Chinese? Oh no. Hold on.
Irish Chinese.
Hold on. No. They say no. That no. Let's go with. When I asked them if they were born in China, would they be Chinese? They say no. But you said you are an American because you was born here. So why wouldn't you be Chinese if you were born in China? All right, but you an American who was born here. I don't get it. Wouldn't that principle be worked everywhere? Wouldn't that work everywhere?
That's right.
I mean, if it's a principle,
that's right.
Or if it's a truth, wouldn't that truth work everywhere? If I was born in England, I'm English. Oh no. Well, why not? See, they don't expect us to talk logically like this. I mean, you got European co-workers who never talk to somebody like me. Because they're like black and white. What color are you? What you look like? I don't talk like that. I'm the first person in their entire life that they talk to on this level. They're not used to talking to somebody like me. They used to talk to somebody, what color are you? Black or white? You know, I challenge the fact that they're white. Ain't no European gonna say they're white around me. They not. I'm the sovereign of this land. So it's understanding, going back to words again. I'm dealing with words, fam. You see the points of etymology?
Right.
You're understanding the proper concept, because as I said before, at the onset of the show, that etymology leads you right into your ancestral path, gives you a proper orientation. Connotative meanings actually veer you from or away from your proper orientation. So I'm orientating our people back to their ancestral concepts.
You talked about nationality when the brother Red Pill asked you the first question.
Yes.
What determines you? How do you determine your nationality and call yourself a Moor? How do you know what tribe or what nation you come from?
All right. As I said before.
Without taking the DNA test.
All right.
That could tie you back to that land or nation.
All right. What I said before is that the European powers who enslaved the Moors all had treaties with Morocco. There's documentary evidence during the so-called, because this is important, good question, because let's look at the history. It's placed in a historical context. How do we know that we're Moors? all European powers who had set up colonies, all right, who set up colonies in what they called the United States and other parts of the Americas, all had treaties with Morocco. Now why is that? All had treaties with Morocco between the 1500s and 1800s during the same time period of the so-called transatlantic slave trade. Who else are we? Who else did they have treaties with? They always paying, not, now keep in mind, these are tribute treaties. The agreement was that they had to pay us annual tributes to pass. As I said before, we seized their ships anyway. They says this is what they're suppressing. See, they don't want us to know. They don't want us to know that they were paying annual tributes to Morocco. Not an African state, no, Morocco. Now I'm saying Morocco. Well, they're Moors.
Clarify the difference between the Moroccos that was founded in 1950 and the Moroccan Empire.
All right.
Because people will think,
right,
you know,
right. So he starts. So he wants me to. All right. Then you have the Kingdom of Morocco, which is in now in Northern Africa, what they call the continent of Africa, Northern Africa. You have the Moroccan Empire, which is America. The name America is derived from the name Morocco. It's a dialectical corruption of the name Morocco. They use what's called historical sound changes. When you're changing vowels, it's called umlaut, all right, or vowel shifts, and it changes the pronunciation. Or you add a letter to a beginning of the word, that's called epenthesis. All right, so those are different sound changes that occur. So that's why understanding using linguistics again to show, and also historical documentation to clearly show that we're Moors, because the Moors were the ones that seized them, that seized their ships by the thousands and seized them by the hundreds of thousands.
Okay.
During the same time period.
Through your definition of George Bush can't be an American?
Yes.
I want to ask you now.
Yes.
How do you say that you are a Moorish American? What makes you a Moorish American?
You're being redundant, though. The term is redundant.
No, because you say you say you can't be an American because
the term all right. The term Moorish American is being redundant. You're saying because the Moor, all right, America is derived from Morocco. Moor is the variation of Morocco. It's just two. You have the same.
I see what you're saying.
They're cognates. Right. They're in the same family.
All right.
So you don't have to say you're Moorish American.
Right.
Say American or you're Moor. You don't have to say Moorish American. See, what it is that in the temples, when they say Moorish American, this is what they mean. They'll have the Moroccan flag, which is the red and green, and they'll have the Star Spangled Banner, and they'll point to we're Moorish.
That's right to it.
Yeah,
because I was going to ask.
That's not the American flag. No. That's a false concept.
Okay,
No. I'm saying that's a false premise. The Moroccan flag, red field with a 5-pointed green star, and you have the Star Spangled Banner. Everybody knows what the Star Spangled look like, right? Those in the temples will point to Moorish American, Moorish, all right. The Moroccan flag, American Star Spangled Banner. That's a false paradigm. The Star Spangled Banner is not the American flag. One, is not a flag. The Star Spangled Banner. It's a trading banner. So its jurisdiction is only extended to the high seas. So what they're doing is they're practicing admiralty laws that apply to high seas onto the land. That's not a flag. Ain't no flag that's flown in any public schools in this country. On our land, no flag. A banner, but not a flag.
Was that a combination of the Union Jack?
Right, but key is not be clear. That is not a flag. That's first. Let's be clear. I want the audience to be clear that it's not a flag. So when I say, well, take that flag down. I won't move at all.
Right.
I'm not moving. If somebody says the Star Spangled Banner, right? Pointing to the Star Spangled, somebody says, well, take that flag down. I'm not moving. Because if I move, what? I'm acquiescing that it's a flag.
That's right.
It's not a flag. So I'm not going to. You didn't tell me. You didn't say take that banner down. Now you say take that banner down. Then I'll take the banner down. Or you say, well, take that flag down. That's Kigo, because that's jurisdiction. That's jurisdiction because they call it a flag, which means that you're saying that it applies to land. It doesn't. It's a banner that only applies to the seas. Very important. It may seem trivial. It's not. If you understand law and jurisdiction, it's not trivial. It's big.
All right, let's go to here because I want to make sure I have enough tape. I want you to deal with the Hebrew Israelites. Where does that word come from? Go into the etymology of the word Hebrew and Israelite.
All right. Well, Hebrew, it's Eber. The H is added. What's called the aspirate, and when you add a sound or letter at the beginning of a word, it's called prosthesis. So there's historical sound changes that occur that creates this new sound or new form of what's reconstruction of the word. So it deals with, then you have in Arab and Egyptian, it's the P. The B is a P in Egyptian. APRUI. So it means deals with the nomads. But that's the Egyptian form. Now, Israel, you have Isis, Ra, and Eo. Isis is actually Sirius, the dog star, all right? And then you have Ra, the Egyptian word for the sun, and Eo referring to the moon in the Babylonian. So that's where the Israel comes from. It's Isis, Ra, and Eo.
Powerful, powerful, brother. Do you have anything you want to say? The brother killed the slavery joint. He killed the niggas joint.
Yeah.
He dropped it on that.
I'm gonna be able to listen and catch up with the brother shared. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Okay, with that, brother, you want to close out? Was anything?
Yo, can I read the back of this?
Go ahead. Of course.
Yeah, yes. This is once again Moorish Connection to Masonry. All right, this is King Solomon Grand Lodge, AF and AM Incorporated, Washington D.C. The Honorable Robert J. Newby, 33rd degree Grand Master, presents Abdullah El Talib Mosi Bey. This was done in July of this year. Moorish Connection to Masonry. Abdullah speaks to Eastern Stars, Masons, and the general public at the King Solomon Grand Lodge, AF and AM Incorporated in Washington, D.C. about Moors and Masonry. Abdullah discusses the Moorish foundation of the United States Constitution and the Moroccan American government. He explains how Masonry is the European preparation to run the Moorish government, as the Moors transferred the Moorish government and Moorish sovereignty to the European Masons. Today, the European Masons are the trustees of the Moorish/American government. Further, Abdullah enlightens the sisters and brothers on the Moorish origin of the imperial divan adopted by the European Shriners. The imperial divan, as viewed in the proper historical context, is the Moroccan Moorish Council of Government. He ties the titles imperial potentate, royal monarch, and sovereign grand commander to the Moroccan Moorish emperors, placing the titles in their proper context of the Moorish government. In the second part of the presentation, Abdullah explains the astronomical and geometrical origin and meaning of the compass and square, the Freemasonry tracing board, checkerboard floor, winding staircase, the number 33, the two pillars of Boaz and Joachim, the triple tile and equilateral triangle within the circle as adopted by the Royal Arc Masons. Finally, he connects the all-seeing eye and the apron to the raising of the Kundalini energy, the activation of the pineal gland and the higher brain senses, as well as the high mind science technology of the ancient world. All right, moorcivilized.net.
Right there, y'all gotta get that.
All right.
Y'all gotta cop that.
Definitely, man. I have been able to connect with a lot of Masons throughout the country as a result of this presentation. And then Brother Newby has sent about 30 grandmasters, other grandmasters, royal monarchs, Shriners, and so forth.
What's the importance of the Moors reestablishing a relationship with the Masonic temples outside of the the spookism that's attributed to these fraternal orders? You know what I mean? From people.
Great question.
Yeah.
Great question. What I am doing, all right, is one. First of all, they're Moors. Is so that we can really move this movement to another level. With numbers, that we would be able to spread this knowledge much quicker through organizations as opposed to individual here. I get calls from all over the country, but they say, well, Abdullah, there's no temple here. I'm the only Moor here, and it's like little pockets. But we want to change that dynamics where, say, we have 100,000 Moors in D.C., Virginia, Maryland area who are conscious and nationalized. All right, so if there's a court case, you got about 400. You don't have, well, I had a court date and then only 2 or 3 people showed up. Where you building communities. So it would be able to move faster and done through organization. Keep in mind that these Masonic orders are connected with other orders throughout the country. They have annual conventions. In fact, what Nubi's trying to do is set me up to speak at their national convention in Chicago. So that's why I'm taking this approach. Because I understand organization. Very well, I learned this in my fraternity, Alpha Alpha, organization. And a lot of things can get done through organization. We're moving slow because we deal with individuals. We got to deal with organizations. And this is the approach that I'm taking. I know I can be effective taking this approach. I've been criticized, so what? I will take this approach and I will be effective. I am projecting positive thought that I will be able to reach our brothers and sisters. And they will what? Now you will have, in turn, have whole lodges nationalized. 100, 150, 200. And remember, those lodges are connected to other lodges. Because remember, they have national, they have regional, they have state conventions, regional conventions, and national conventions. I understand that. I understand that dynamic, that phenomenon dynamic that I learned in my fraternity. So that's the approach that I'm taking. Thank you for the question. Thank you.
Why do you think it's important for the Europeans to give our children birth certificates and social security cards?
Great question.
Why is that important for them?
All right.
I'm saying, not for us.
The 14th Amendment, the birth certificate, and the race and ethnic standards of federal statistics and administrative reporting are the Europeans' instruments of capturing us. Meaning that they'll ask you, in order for them to see whether they have jurisdiction over you or ownership over you, they'll ask you, well, where were you born? You have a birth certificate? Why? Because that's the instrument they're using to capture you, to claim ownership of you. So on the birth certificate has a European occupational colonial state on it. New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, California, South Carolina. So you're saying that you were born in South Carolina. South Carolina is not a place. South Carolina is a European colonial colony. So this is what they do is they claim ownership of us through the 14th Amendment, the birth certificate, and the race and ethnic standards of federal statistics and administrative reporting.
Wow, hold up. This is Roz Bey right here, y'all.
Islam.
Beautiful, beautiful sister right here. I haven't seen you in a minute. You look gorgeous.
Well, gee, thank you. I just had a solar return, so I'm feeling all right.
Okay, that's what's up, Queen.
So I see you rolling in with this.
I would like to interview you next week.
All right.
And it's going to be powerful.
Sister Anita here is today also. Yeah, Sister Anita, you got her thing? Yeah. She's going to do the class, but I'm getting ready to give these out really fast. And I just need your signature.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, you know where you was at.
Yes, so as I've said before, that the Europeans used those instruments of European captivity to assume jurisdiction over us. That is being the birth certificate, the 14th Amendment. It's done with the 14th Amendment. And the 14th Amendment is tied to the birth certificate because this is how they claim ownership over us. They're assuming jurisdiction because they will always ask for a documentation. You know, that you can't do this without a birth certificate. You can't do this without you can't get benefits without a birth certificate. You know, where were you born? You know, do you have proof of, but those are instruments of European captivity. So as we captured the Europeans and we had documentation on them, had papers on them, well, they've captured us and they have papers on us. Birth certificate, and they're doing it through unconstitutional legislation, the 14th Amendment. See, our people think that the 14th Amendment makes us citizens of the United States, not knowing that the 14th Amendment is an instrument whereby the Europeans, or a piece of legislation whereby the Europeans are assuming jurisdiction over a defeated people. So you have an occupational European colonial government that has occupational rule over a defeated people and their land. Today, on the back of this Federal Reserve note, you have the obverse and reverse of the Moorish government. So you have an occupational European colonial government that has occupational rule over the Moorish land. And they're feigning as the government. But this doesn't denote the government, this does. So this is the obverse, meaning the principal side or sovereign side, white Americans, majority, all right? And this is European, colonial occupational rulers. So they've claiming the Europeans have claimed our birthright, and they wear our Moorish fez in public as well as in secret. But they do it in public ceremoniously, as they did on July 1st in Indianapolis, Indiana. In fact, a European girl, when I was Ustreaming, I went there for my book, to take pictures for my book. A 5-year-old European girl was standing in front of her mother as they, European males going by wearing our Moorish fez, and she said, "Look, mommy, they're wearing the Shriner's hat." So now this European girl, 5 years old, is being indoctrinated to associate the Moorish fez with European men and call it Shriner's hat. So now to a European girl, that you're saying European girl, if she saw him with a Moorish fez on, which is his fez, she said, so like, "Mister, why are you wearing the Shriner's hat?"
Let me ask you this, man, because I hear this all the time when the people say, you know, your Social Security card, you can get money for that.
Right.
Have you ever seen somebody get money for that?
Yes.
How is that done? Because
I don't know how it's done.
How is it done, right, man? I need some money right now.
No, I have this sister. All right, this sister in Chicago actually got a check for $300,000 from the Treasury Department. Now the brother whom I trust, he said he saw a copy of the check. He said he saw a copy of the check. Now what happened was other people had followed suit and filled out the paperwork the same way. But what he said was that they're allowing some to go through and some not to go through. So they fill out the paperwork the right way. It ain't like they as if they fill out the paperwork incorrectly. So what they did was they put a fine on some, a $10,000 fine on others. They let some go through, and they fine others $10,000.
Wow.
So you say how? Well, they already know how, but they're only letting a few go through. Because you're talking about, because thousands would have done it.
Right.
I mean, so what they had to do was put a stop to it. How they put a stop to it? They fined them and only allowed some to go through. So now that discourages others from doing it. If they had let that continue, then you talking about, remember this was done 5 years ago. The sister. So you talking about maybe thousands would have followed suit. Because you already know how word quickly travels. I mean, you got Facebook, you got this, internet, YouTube and so forth. That would have followed suit, man.
Right.
So they had to put a stop to that. So the how, they already know how, but they only gonna let a few go through.
Okay, brother.
I mean, that's because I had asked him that, and that's what he told me. I mean,
that was beautiful, man. That was beautiful. I'm looking forward to next week with Roz, man. I got to really come
All right.
prepared for Rob. I gotta write down some stuff.
Write some stuff.
If you come up with something, man.
Let the YouTube ask the questions.